What if I told you the history of medicine isn't what you think it is? Beyond the famous names, a shadowy past holds untold stories of unsung heroes who risked everything, even their own lives, to pave the way for modern healthcare. Prepare to have your understanding of medical progress completely rewritten. Welcome to Medieval Tales, where we dig deep into the forgotten corners of history. Today, we're shining a light on the invisible giants who shaped modern medicine, the pioneers whose names rarely make the headlines, but whose work touches every doctor's office and hospital room around the world. You've heard of Louis Pasteur, the father of germ theory, or Edward Jenner, who pioneered vaccination against smallpox, or Alexander Fleming, the discoverer of penicillin. These titans are celebrated in textbooks and museums, their statues standing tall. But what if I told you that the real bedrock of our medical advancements lies in the perilous experiments and quiet revolutions of those who operated in the shadows? These were the ones who challenged the status quo, often at great personal cost, wielding what we might call dangerous knowledge, ideas so radical they threatened the established order. What if the greatest breakthroughs weren't celebrated but hidden in plain sight? Let's start with the self-experimenters, those brave, or perhaps foolhardy, souls who turned their own bodies into laboratories. Imagine this, it's 1929 in Germany, and a young doctor named Werner Fossmann is frustrated with the limitations of treating heart conditions. At the time, accessing the heart directly seemed impossible without killing the patient. So what does Fossmann do? He decides to prove it can be done, on himself. He sneaks into a procedure room, numbs his arm, and inserts a thin tube, a ureteral catheter, into his vein. Inch by inch, he pushes it toward his heart, walking down the hall to an X-ray machine with the help of a nurse he convinced to assist him. The image shows the catheter right in his heart chamber. He had just performed the first cardiac catheterization on a human, himself. The immediate consequences? He was fired from his job for what his superiors called reckless behavior. But his motivation was pure, to advance medicine beyond guesswork. In an era without ethics committees or animal testing protocols as we know them, self-experimentation was sometimes the only way forward. Think about the ethical dilemmas here. Was it madness or necessity? Fossmann risked infection, bleeding, even death, but his act laid the foundation for modern cardiology. Today, millions undergo cardiac catheterizations every year to diagnose and treat heart disease, and Fossmann shared a Nobel Prize in 1956 for it. His bravery turned a dangerous idea into a life-saving tool we take for granted. But Fossmann wasn't alone in this daring tradition. Fast forward to the 1980s in Australia, where Dr. Barry Marshall was battling skepticism over his theory that a bacterium called Helicobacter pylori caused stomach ulcers, not stress or spicy food as everyone believed. To prove it, Marshall brewed a concoction of the bacteria and drank it himself, soon developing severe gastritis. He biopsied his own stomach to confirm the infection, then cured it with antibiotics. The medical community had laughed at him, but his self-sacrifice led to a paradigm shift. Now, ulcers are treated with simple meds instead of lifelong diets or surgeries, saving countless lives and earning Marshall a Nobel in 2005. These stories highlight the raw courage required when science lacked safeguards, but they also raise questions about the line between heroism and hubris. Moving on to the overlooked breakthroughs and the forgotten faces behind them, let's talk about the women and minorities whose genius was buried under layers of bias. Take Rosalind Franklin, a brilliant British chemist in the 1950s. Working at King's College London, she captured Photo 51, an X-ray diffraction image that revealed the double helix structure of DNA. This was the key to unlocking the secrets of genetics, paving the way for everything from cancer treatments to forensic science. But Franklin's contribution was dismissed. Her data was shown without her permission to James Watson and Francis Crick, who used it to build their famous model and win the Nobel Prize in 1962. Franklin died of ovarian cancer at just 37, 4 years before the award, and Nobels aren't given posthumously. Why was she overlooked? Sexism in science. She was often treated as a technician rather than a peer, her work ridiculed by male colleagues who nicknamed her the Dark Lady. Yet without her, the DNA revolution might have been delayed by decades. Similarly, Alice Ball, a young African-American chemist, developed the first effective treatment for leprosy in 1915, at just 23 years old. Her Ball method involved injecting oil from chalmugra seeds, allowing thousands of patients to be discharged from isolation colonies. Tragically, Ball died before publishing her work, possibly from chlorine exposure in the lab. A male colleague claimed credit, renaming it after himself until the truth emerged years later. Societal biases, racism, and sexism erased her from history books, but her discovery transformed lives, proving that innovation knows no color or gender. And then there's Yellapragada Subbarao, an Indian-born researcher who arrived in America in 1923 with dreams of curing diseases that killed his brothers. Despite discrimination and financial hardships, he co-developed a method to measure phosphorus in the body, discovered ATP's role as the cell's energy source, synthesized folic acid to treat anemia, and created methotrexate, a chemotherapy drug still used today for cancer and autoimmune diseases. His team also isolated the first tetracycline antibiotic. Yet Subbarao shunned the spotlight, often letting others take credit, and died in 1948 without a Nobel or widespread fame. Why unsung? He was an immigrant in a white-dominated field, focused on the work rather than self-promotion. His legacies power modern biochemistry, but his name is rarely uttered. Now, let's turn to the silent revolutionaries, those whose quiet persistence shifted entire paradigms without fanfare. Picture mid-19th century Vienna, where Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis noticed something horrifying. In his maternity ward, women delivered by doctors had a locality rate 3 times higher than those by midwives. The culprit? Doctors came straight from autopsies without washing hands, spreading what he called cadaverous particles. Semmelweis mandated hand washing with chlorine lime, slashing death rates from 18% to under 2%. But the medical elite ridiculed him. How dare he suggest gentlemen doctors had dirty hands? He was fired, his ideas dismissed, and he died in an asylum after a nervous breakdown, likely from an infection. Yet his work predated germ theory, laying the groundwork for modern hygiene. Today, millions undergo hand washing annually to prevent infections, a ripple effect from his quiet fight. Another silent force was Dr. Wu Liande, a Chinese-Malaysian physician during the 1910 Manchurian plague. Facing a deadly outbreak, he designed the first modern surgical mask, proved the plague was airborne, and enforced quarantines that saved thousands. Western doctors mocked his ideas at first, but his methods became global standards, echoing in our COVID responses. Without acclaim, his innovations transformed public health. And we can't forget about Henrietta Lacks, an African-American woman whose cervical cancer cells were taken without consent in 1951. These HeLa cells became the first immortal human cell line, fueling breakthroughs in the polio vaccine, gene mapping, and even COVID vaccines. Lacks died unaware, her family uncompensated for decades, highlighting ethical lapses and racial inequities. Her silent contribution has saved billions, yet she remained invisible until recent books and films. And we can't forget about Dr. Charles Drew, who pioneered blood plasma preservation during World War II, creating blood banks that saved Allied soldiers. Racism denied him full recognition. He resigned from the Red Cross over segregated blood policies. His work underpins modern transfusions, quietly revolutionizing emergency care. As we resurface these legacies, it's clear why so many remained unsung. Societal biases like racism, sexism, and classism buried their stories. Some, like Subbarao, avoided the limelight. Others, like Semmelweis, were actively suppressed. But reevaluating history matters. It inspires diverse new generations and reminds us that progress is a collective effort. Who knows what other forgotten contributors lurk in the annals of science, art, or technology? I challenge you to think about unsung heroes in your own field or family. Share their stories in the comments below. Let's build a community that celebrates the invisible giants. If this video opened your eyes, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Mighty Vela Tales for more hidden histories, and hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next breakthrough might come from the most unexpected place. See you next time.